Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine. I am just an amateur makeup enthusiast trying to do some content on YouTube, trying to promote a more relaxed makeup style and more everyday makeup, I guess. And today, because I kind of was looking through my old videos and seeing like, I've never really introduced myself and what my background is and what I'm doing with my life right now. So I thought today we could talk about that while doing makeup, doing one of my favorite looks, which is red lipstick with a nice pink blush, nice and dewy. So let's get started. This is one of my favorite foundations. It's the MAC Studio Radiance Serum Powered Foundation. It's something that you can really build, but also do quite naturally. And because it has that serum in it, it does have a bit of a dewy finish, which I do enjoy. Okay, so where should we start from? I feel like starting at not at high school, wasn't a fan of high school, but starting with just after high school would be a great point for me. So after high school, I thought I wanted to become a chef. I really loved cooking food at the time. I still do. And I loved the Food Network and watching people make food. I loved going out for food. It was a really big passion of mine. Also, do you see that awful pimple? Oh my god, it's so painful. And it's just like a welt. There's nothing in it to come out. It's just this red monster on my face. So thinking of going into culinary school, and I was looking at one in Vancouver at the time. I looked at student housing. I was really excited for it. And then I was also going to Ecuador for 7 months. Graduated in the summer, went the following January. Wow, yeah, that pimple. I just wanted to get out of, I live in Victoria, BC, needed to get out of here. And I think you're ready to like experience things. I also think a reason why I'm doing this is because I'm turning 30 in October. It's definitely like you look back at the last 10 years because it's such a transformative period, you know, coming out of high school and then being an adult, doing your own thing for the first time, and then kind of going into your 30s where you're more, I wouldn't say I feel more secured right now, but definitely just a little bit more practice at life. See, that just looks like second skin. It's so beautiful. I do have the dishwasher on, so you're going to be hearing that in the background. Going to Ecuador for 7 months. It was with a volunteer program called Latitude Volunteering. So you got to live with a family, your food was taken care of, all you needed was like spending money and when you wanted to go travel, and you volunteered. I think that was probably like one of the best experiences that I could have done for myself at the time. I do think I was quite obviously young to go. I think I was 18 at the time. I don't know, it's just kind of crazy looking back now and thinking like, oh, I just got on a plane and went to a country where I didn't speak the language, didn't know anyone, and went to go like volunteer, which I had never done before. I think I struggled a bit with the fact that I'm quite introverted and I have a hard time with speaking in groups sometimes because, I don't know, I think I care too much what people think about me, and so when you're speaking in a group, it's not always like, it doesn't always feel the best. I don't know if that's a great way to explain it, but so then you go somewhere where you don't speak the language and you have to speak a very basic way, and the only way to learn is to speak more and to speak with people and for them to like correct you, but I'm barely like comfortable doing that in my own language, so I think I really struggled with that. I think that pushed me to now be more confident where I am today. Like, I don't regret not pushing myself more at the time, but there's only like so much you can do. There's only so much you can do as like an 18-year-old in a foreign country. We went to Peru for 3 weeks as well, went up Machu Picchu. We didn't do the Inca Trail, we went up one of the other ones. It was a crazy experience. I wouldn't say my fitness was at a great level at the time, and I didn't have a lot of experience hiking, so it was challenging. And it'd be really interesting to go now where I enjoy hiking more and I'm more fit, so I think I'd be able to enjoy more rather than being like, oh my god, I need to stop and have a break. Peru is such a cool country, and I think one of my favorite parts, obviously Machu Picchu, but when we were in Cusco, I did a chocolate making class, and I did it by myself because no one else, like, I think they're very like shoestring budget for their travels. But when do you get to do a chocolate class? Especially where they like have the cocoa beans, you know? And that was such a highlight. It was so fun. The legal drinking age in Ecuador is also 18, so in Canada it's 19, so I was able to like go to the clubs for the first time, which is a crazy experience. When I was finally able to come back to Canada and go to the clubs, the guys here just like come up and grind on the back of you. And in Ecuador, if you were dancing with a friend, they would bring their friend and ask you to dance. And so when I came back here, I was like, you ask me to dance. This is how it should be done. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I am surprised. It's so different. I don't know. I think I'm getting a little nervous talking about my life. It's kind of hard to like wrap up, and I should have done a script, but I just wanted to get this done. This probably would have been covered up a lot better if I did like a color corrector, because there's so much like, it's dark. There's some blood in there, I think. It's not going so well. So came back home to Canada, and I thought I was gonna go to culinary school, but I was having a really hard time like adjusting being back here. I don't know if Victoria is like my favorite place. It's definitely changed a lot in the last like 5 years. Pulled out of culinary school, which, to tell you the truth, I think was a really good decision. It's long hours and you don't get paid well, and I don't think you get a lot of respect. I always wanted to have like my own restaurant, but you have to learn the industry, and I don't think in Victoria there's a lot of good restaurant owners. I think that's why it's interesting when people say that there's not a lot of money in like owning a restaurant, because if there's not, why are there so many restaurants now? And you know, people don't invest in things where they're not going to get a return. What I forgot to say about Ecuador is that I met my best friend there. She's from Scotland, so she was doing an exchange as well with the same volunteer program, and she was going to come visit, but her mom, you know, found me on Facebook and was like, hey, because I wasn't working at the time, she was like, hey, if you're not working, why don't you look into getting a working visa and come living with us? And I was like, shut up. I was so excited and a little nervous because I never met her mom before, but Mary and I spent like all the time together when we were in Ecuador. So I moved there for 1.5 years. We went to Europe. Mary and I, we went on like a 2-month vacation. I turned 20 in Berlin, which was crazy. We had cake for breakfast. We went to a hockey game in the afternoon, and it was just really special. I know they say it's hard to find friends like as an adult. We were 18, so definitely not adults, but it's very special to have friends like that. So if you're watching, Mary, hey! And I had only had, you know, customer service job experience at the time. So all I could work at, like I worked at the body shop, I did a bit of babysitting, and then I worked at a restaurant. But the amount of money you made versus how much everything cost, it was really hard. And so that's what got me thinking about going back to school again, because I was just like, I can't make this amount of money and like have any sort of life and travel, because I love traveling. It's something that makes me very happy, and it usually makes me feel better about the world. The world's been insane this last like 4 years or what, well, since 2016 probably. It just seems like politics are absolutely insane. But usually when I traveled, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, maybe governments can be crappy, but the people who live in these places are really special and kind, and this is what's good about the world. Oh yeah, traveling's a hobby. I was like, where was I going with this? Anyways, I keep getting like muscle twitches in my cheek. So I was ready to like go back to school, make some money. But the problem is, especially, this would have been like 2015 at the time, people were going to school, getting into a lot of debt to not have a job, like really struggling to find jobs afterwards. I feel like the job market is a little different now. Like I feel like people are needed, especially after COVID. I think a lot of people left industries because they were like, this job isn't for me anymore. I need a better life, which what kind of happened to me, but we will get there. So I wanted something where I'd be able to get a job afterward and it wasn't going to be like this 4-year thing. And for some reason I landed on welding. Never been in a metal shop, only did woodworking in middle school. Like I had no idea, but I was like, I can make money in this, and it's something where I can be active, and I thought I could work and then go travel, because usually with a lot of trades jobs you do like a shutdown, or like in a mill, so it's an opportunity for something to get repaired and then they start it up again. And then I thought I could go travel, and I thought that would be a really good opportunity and just a good fit for my life. And at that point in my life it would have been, but because I had to get experience, I was working in smaller shops in Victoria, and that was like such a life lesson. Holy man. I think a lot of industries don't train their workers enough anymore, because usually there's turnover because people get unhappy or they're not getting paid enough, so they'll go to another company. So it's like companies don't want to invest in their employees as much anymore, which usually is like training how to do the job properly. And I found that with these smaller shops, I would go in being like, hey, I don't have a lot of experience, and they would hire me, not pay me a lot because I didn't have experience, which I thought like, fine, whatever, I need to learn and absorb some knowledge. But then they don't train you properly, and then the longer you're there, they start to get frustrated with you because you're not picking things up, I guess, but they're trying to give you more responsibility. But you're like, well, you haven't like taught me anything great. In the olden days, like in the 1700s or the 1800s or whatever, it would be like apprentice, tradesperson, and then like a master. And the master was who would train the apprentices. It wasn't even someone who had been doing the job for like 10 years. They'd been doing the job for a long time, and they could teach you everything confidently because they had been doing it for so long, and they were taught by someone who really knew the job. And people just don't do that anymore. I obviously came back and went to school. I worked at a grocery store to save up for school, which pretty crazy, right? I was living at home and I wasn't paying rent, but I was able to pay for my first semester. I think I had a little bit of help to get tools from my mom. I think she helped me with that. Yeah, I paid for it all myself. Didn't need to take a loan. Looking back on, I'm very proud of myself for doing that. I'm proud of myself for sticking through that trade. I got my red seal. I failed the test the first time. I had to take it again. That was a huge blow. I really liked my job, but I wasn't confident enough, and I like beat myself up a bit too much because of some people I worked with who made me feel inadequate when they were actually not even that great at their job. So whatever. And I almost left the trades, but I went back to get my second level, and I got hired at the shipyards as an apprentice to kind of finish off my apprenticeship. I did enjoy working there. It was a lot of work. You would sometimes have to work overtime, so weekends, like 10-hour days, 12-hour days. I had to work nights at one point. I enjoyed it when I was like 25, 26, but It just wasn't how I wanted my life to go, where you're so caught in like when they need you. And of course they would never tell you. It would be like a Friday, 4 hours before you're going home, and then they're like, hey, can you come in tomorrow? And you know, I really liked to plan my weekends and do fun things because work was so long. What should we do next? Oh yeah. Okay, so I haven't really been talking through the makeup products, but we're gonna use nude sticks, blush, and sweet cheeks. And I like to put it on my hand first. See that color there? I used to think I wanted to go to be like an inspector or maybe an instructor, but you're still around the environment, and I just decided that I didn't want that to be my life anymore. And it wasn't an easy decision. Like, I didn't feel like I was making the right decision at the time, and I felt a little guilty because I was making great money and then I was leaving for the unknown. Like, and to tell you the truth, I still don't know. So that's really scary. But sometimes you just know when things are the good decision. And I think I've done a good job with that in my life, of being able to navigate the direction I want to go into. I don't regret too much of my decisions with what I want to do with my life. I think I've stuck true to what I need to do and want to do. And so yeah, I left and I took some time off because, again, I was still dealing with grief. I went back and I did some customer service. I worked in my aunt's furniture shop. I worked at Lush over the Christmas season. But now, like, I would be so excited if this was my career. I love the comments. I love experience of the beauty community. There's just some changes that I would like to have for my channel, of communicating with each other and being uplifting and not being perfectionists. So I don't know, I'm trying to be a lot more consistent. I'm trying to learn more about editing videos. I need to figure out how to add like sounds and maybe some graphics to make it a little more interesting, so you're not just like staring at me the whole time. I really enjoy doing the thumbnails, but I'm not the best at writing descriptions. I find shorts really fun. I've been enjoying this. It's been a great hobby. If it just stays a hobby, it just stays a hobby. But I think this would be fantastic to do as a job. Who doesn't think that? Well, actually, a lot of people. I'm also wanting to do a cleaning business just to get some income going and have my days a little more structured. I would really enjoy doing that. And I would like to go back to school still. Like, my dream would be to be able to do YouTube, to have income from this, and then maybe start taking some courses again. I would love to learn more about writing. I love reading. I did a course in September trying to help like find what you want to do with your life in terms of careers. Because I talked about books a lot, we were talking about becoming a library assistant, but the pay is not very good, and it was just like the climate of the world right now. I want to be able to live my life comfortably and not worry about my paychecks. I'm just gonna do like a really light little eyeliner. I think I'm gonna just use this like cool tone chocolate brown. Hopefully you're not getting a glare. Doing an eyeliner with a little flick with eyeshadow is, I think, one of the hardest things to do. And everyone's like, oh, it's so easy. And I'm like, I have an easier time with liquid. But yeah, I think for a long time I didn't feel like I was good enough to do a YouTube video or Instagram. I actually don't have Instagram on my phone right now because I was using it too much. If I have a YouTube video on, like, I'll like to play it on our TV because we have the smart TV and you just get the app, right? And I'll put someone's YouTube videos on. I can do stuff around the house. Like, I don't need to be watching it per se because the videos are longer, so it's a little easier just to listen. But with Instagram, like, in TikTok, I have to be scrolling. And to tell you the truth, so I started on TikTok and then I started posting my TikToks on YouTube, which then they kind of started doing okay. And then I was like, well, let's do a full length video. Like, come on. I'm still just trying to figure it out and to see what I like. And I was saying this a lot last year. I just want a bit more ease to my life. When I was working as a welder, I was excited for the weekends. Like, I was just cliche of working for the weekend because like the week would be so taken up by having to get to bed on time because I have to get up at 5 because I have to be at work by 6:30. It was just a lot. Just didn't want that for the rest of my life. I don't know, have you had a lot of career changes? Is there something where you think you would enjoy it more? What kind of job did you see yourself doing as a younger kid or as a younger person, and now like what do you see for yourself? Because when I was younger, I did not think I'd be a welder at all. And now that I'm older, I have no idea what my future looks like, and sometimes it's really exciting, but a lot of the times it's more overwhelming. But I don't know, I just find makeup fun. I find it a bit of like a hobby as well. So it's fun to have like the hobby with another hobby. I love reading. That's one of my favorite pastimes. You know, getting outside, going for hikes, going for walks. I probably should have mentioned this earlier. I think it makes me a little like nervous and maybe a little giddy, but I recently got engaged, and which is really crazy to say because I never thought I would be. But it's just like a little thing that we decided to do because it doesn't feel like something we need to do. It's just this nice little celebration for us, and it's been really nice. You know, James and I have been together for 7 years. I think it's 8 years this August. That's been a really nice event that happened actually last Friday. And we would love to get back to traveling and experiencing a life away from like pandemic and stress. Oh, I really love the gym. That's another thing that you might not know about me, and maybe I think I would do a short. I don't know if I would do like a full video, like a long form. I've been also working out for almost 8 years. James got me into it. I really enjoyed the gym. I got a Nintendo Switch for my 29th birthday, so I'm like getting into gaming, which has been a lot of fun. Love the new Princess Peach Showtime. It's super fun. Mario Kart though is definitely my favorite. I got a little cat. He's a tuxedo. You've seen him a few times. Maurice, he'll be 3 in August. So I usually do like a nude lip, I feel like. So we're gonna do a bold red lip. We're gonna do first MAC Prep and Prime. I would subscribe to MAC's email list because they always show when they're doing a gift with purchase. And I got this as a gift with purchase and I love it. And then we're going to do the iconic shade of Ruby Woo, which is a like blue red. I really like it because I find it's bright. It's a very bright red to wear. But MAC just redid their matte lipsticks, so it's a new formula. So I gotta like use these up because I want to try the new one. Bright lipstick was all I used to wear in like 2013 to 18. And it kind of makes me sad that I don't wear it as much. I think it doesn't make me feel self-conscious, but it's just not my style as much anymore. Kind of need to clean it, but I like to use Cherry as a lip liner. They're not exact shades for each other, but it just creates a nice little, it's such an easier way to like perfect the line of your lips. I've got to wear this color more often. It's so beautiful. And you know what? It's actually been surprising how much work has to go into YouTube videos. I'm not quick with editing, and I know a lot of people just like send their videos to get edited. I would like to, I think, always do my own videos. I think I just have to be a bit better with my structure of when I edit them during the week. But you know, some people, they do scripts and you have to get like all these links. Thinking of ideas, it is like, it's more work than I thought it was gonna be. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, I can do this, whatever. And I had a little feeling of, I should stop. This is ridiculous. Like, I'm getting too old. What am I doing? But it is just a fun hobby for me, and I am enjoying it. And I think it's fine to be cringy sometimes. Like, whatever. Live live my life. I think that's kind of it. These were huge moments in my life. That is a great way to get to know me, of where I've been for the last 10 years, and gives you a little context of, hey, maybe I did this too, or how did you do that? And we can chat about that some more in the comments. Please comment, please subscribe. I hope you've had a good week, and I hope that you have something fun planned for yourself this weekend, even if it's reading in bed with a nice cup of coffee. That's what I'm usually most excited to do. And I will see you next time. Bye.